I was born on 15 August 1927 in the small Jewish town of Narovlia in Belarus. My parents call me Pesach. In Russian I was named Petya, short for Piotr, and my last name is Kravchenko. My father David was a tailor who worked in a craftsman association. My mother was a housewife. She took care of the kids, my two younger brothers and me. We had a wonderful, loving Jewish family. My dad had 6 brothers and 1 sister who was later shot, alongside 2 of her kids and my grandmother. My grandfather used to take me to the synagogue, but back then I wasn't that interested. It was the time of the Soviet pioneers. All the Jewish holidays were celebrated at our home. Even matzah for Passover was baked at our place for all the neighbors. We had a beautiful home near the riverbank. Life was beautiful. We loved going fishing and picking mushrooms and berries. Everything was in plenty. What else can one ask for? When the war broke out, life changed overnight. All the men left to fight for their country. 30 of us left the town, and only 3 came back, including my cousin and me. The rest were killed or went missing. The week before the war began, I went to Kiev, together with my aunt's grandfather. On 22nd of June 1941, I woke up, not realizing what had happened. My relatives had gone to the Jewish marketplace. I was home alone. I sat on the windowsill looking at a strange cloud in the sky. By midday, we heard a special announcement that made by Vyacheslav Molotov about the war outbreak. That very day, we went to the city pier and headed back home to Narolia. After reuniting with my mother and brothers, we continued our journey until we reached Baku. We came out at Pier 26, and we had to wait for 2 weeks to catch our transfer to go to Krasnovodsk. During this time, suddenly my mother got ill. She was hospitalized and diagnosed with typhus. She died the same day. I was left alone with my young brothers. One of them 6, the other was not even 2. We were offered to stay in the orphanage based in Ashgabat. I refused, of course, because we were lucky to bump into our auntie from Kiev, who was my mother's sister. It happened at a pier in the city of Makhachkala. Our aunt took care of us then, and for many more years until her death. I lived with her together with my brother Misha. She became the second mother to us. When my younger brother Misha turned 6 in 1942, I became his official guardian, while being an orphan myself. Due to this fact, I was not allowed to join the army, despite my wishes to go to the war. I worked and was entitled to receive 2 bread tickets, providing a double portion of bread for my brother and myself. But I kept asking the officials to allow me to go to war, threatening to run away to the battlefield myself. Finally, I was told that I was able to join the army if I made sure that my brother Misha was well cared for. At that stage, my younger baby brother was taken to Krasnovodsk by a Russian couple who offered to help us. Their elder son were in the army too. I had no idea what would happen to my baby brother. Only 18 years later, I finally found the woman who took him to Krasnovodsk. At first, she couldn't remember me, and then she said that my brother died during the war. I went to the local hospital and found his death certificate dated October 1942. In August 1944, I turned 17 and was finally allowed to join the army forces in Yaroslavl region and was deployed to the Polish city of Sandomierz. In January, we liberated Czechoslovakia, and prior to moving further, I joined the Communist Youth League known as the Komsomol. Soon after, we went to Katowice, Mysłowice, Krakow, and from there to Berlin. Following the surrender of Berlin, we were asked to relocate to Prague. We jumped into the cars and drove through the Sudeten Mountains. The day after we found ourselves in Prague, we were able to restore the government connection, and on the 11th of May, the war was over. After the end of war, I heard a strong desire to perpetuate my memories by writing poetry. My poems were published in 4 books. My first poem is dedicated to the veterans. The second one is about my grandmother, who was killed by the Nazis with other family members and neighbors. Some of my poems were translated into English. I'll read a few of my poems to you now.
Центр Наровли, колодец, а рядом вместительный дом с огородом и садом, а в нем привлекательно и моложаво. Царила красавица бабушка Хава. Детей сколько было, мы скромность отбросим, немного, немало, их было аж 8. Для любого распахнута дверца ее благодарного доброго сердца. Она никогда не сидела без дела, проворно ухватом печки владела, растила, поила, кормила их к слову, стирала на речке, доила корову. Я помню бабули, заботы и ласки. Я помню интересные сказки. О чем они были? Про то и про это. И знала не меньше, чем няня поэта. Ах, бабушка Хава, совсем не графиня, простая еврейка и мать-героиня. Ты в сердце моем не умрешь, баба Хава. Поклон тебе низкий и вечная слава.
I was so-called refusnik and was not allowed to leave the USSR. In order to migrate, I had to quit my job at a factory. I was unemployed for 5 years. Moving to Melbourne was the best decision I could make for my family. It's our second home, where there are so many people living peacefully together, and where all cultures and backgrounds are respected. I love celebrating the Anzac Day and feel that I belong to its cause even though I fought in the USSR. I believe that the future of my grandchildren is going to be bright and peaceful in Australia, and I hope to share it with them for as long as I can.